What's up? We're here with like our 315,000th video. Did you know that we had 303 videos?
Really?
Really?
3 or 3.
300.
It's ironic because I don't really care for that.
Oh. So, we're here with a review, this time of Whitechapel's The Somatic Defilement. You know, they just put the reissue out, like the remastered version of the whole album on April 16th on Metal Blade Records. And we've never reviewed this album. We always talked about reviewing this album. So we figured, why the fuck not? This is the perfect time to do this, since they just, like, you know, put it out again, if that makes sense. But, yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about our thoughts on the actual album and also our thoughts on the reissue. So, yeah. Go.
We did talk about it in the big Whitechapel band review, but that was like trying to cram everything into one video.
Yeah.
This is the individual album itself. To start off with, there's nothing changed about the pre-release. Just the guitars and the instruments all sound better. It's all like mixed correctly and, you know, right. That's all it sounds better. I still think the vocals sound the same. You know, all the songs are still the same. They didn't like change up any parts as far as I know. As far as I heard, I didn't hear anything changed up. But I mean, there you have it. The album itself, I think it's very raw. It's very kind of old school in a way, but at its time, I think it was a little ahead of its time. Like, I could see someone putting this album out in like 2010 and still kind of gaining a little bit of recognition. And it was like 3 years before that. That's just my opinion, though. But what can I say? It's just a very raw album. One thing I like about this is there's no breakdown that's like, you know, very I don't know, like just typical, very typical. Like in Reissue, Exciser, you know, all the breakdowns they use are like kind of like just like it's like kind of like a different pace. It's a little change of pace, and it's not just like the same monotonous breakdown. So they really change it up. Riff-wise, like I said, it's very raw. Phil Bozeman, raw. This is all raw. It's just a big slab of raw meat. And, like, Phil Bozeman sounds very raw. He doesn't really sound like he does today. Like, today he has a lot, he added a lot more clarity over time of his vocals. I'm not saying what he says sounds more clear or whatever, but it just sounds like, it just added a little clarity. Like, it's easy to pick out, like, different parts, a little more diversity. It just sounds smooth and rounded out the edges. This is very raw Philbo Baggins, and that's pretty much the extent of it. The drumming is alright. I still prefer new Ben to old Kevin. That's just me. A lot of people go nuts over this album, saying it's their best, but I don't think it's their best. It's still a good album. It's still a great album. Good album. Very good album. Good album. It's a good album. I don't care. Good album. Whatever. I'm done. Good album. It's good.
Shut up, dude.
Good.
Shit.
Good album.
What do I think about the Whitechapel Somatic Defilement? I think it's a good album. No, seriously, this is a great album. It's my least favorite Whitechapel record by far, but I still really dig. I think some of Whitechapel's most classic songs are on here, and you know, my hope for the world and for Whitechapel is that they do a tour supporting this release and they play a shitload of songs that aren't Reissue, Exciser, The Somatic Defilement, or what's the other one? Something with Fluid, Asphyxiation, something like that. Yeah. That one. I would love to hear tracks like Fairy Faye or Ear to Ear live. That would just be killer. I mean, some of Whitechapel's best stuff is on here. The remaster does sound really good though. Like I feel that it has more of that more modern type of Whitechapel feel. Like I get that with the guitars. They're still very raw and very punishing and heavy, but they have kind of that Whitechapel feel that you would maybe hear,
twang.
Yeah, on like their new album or something. But nothing, absolutely nothing has changed with Phil Bozeman's vocals. I mean, it's mostly all with the guitars that you can really notice, but it sounds good. It's still just as heavy, just as raw, just as disgusting as the Somatic Defilement, you know, the original, when it came back. It came out in like 2007. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell. I mean, when I revisit this album and just, you know, listen to it every now and again, you can definitely tell that, you know, Phil Bozeman has just grown. Like, he's miles ahead of where he used to be. I mean, here he just is kind of, his range is just kind of like, he has this low and he has this high and sometimes this very brutal low. And now he kind of, he filled in the gaps, you know. He just sounds better, and definitely they have improved as guitar players. I mean, don't get me wrong, the guitar playing on here is good. There's some really, really good riffs, but some of them are more of your typical deathcore riffs, just better. Like, I'm not saying this album's generic by any means, it's definitely not, but it's just like, here's your deathcore sound, here's the Somatic Defilement, you know, it's like a step up, but now it doesn't have those like crazy ass fucking riffs like in Possession or anything like that. But it has some. This album has the most Whitechapel breakdowns out of any album, I feel. But they're really crushing. Like, there's some of the best breakdowns in the history of breakdowns, and you know, we should write a book on the history of breakdowns, and you know, Whitechapel would be on there. Like, in Reissue, Exciser, you know, that breakdown where Phil says, "You will never fuck again," and, you know, it goes to that. That's just brutal as shit. But overall, I mean, this is a good album. Solid drumming, good guitar work. Whitechapel has better now, of course, but, you know, it is a good album. I do enjoy listening to it, but I just don't think it's Whitechapel's best. And, like I said, the remaster sounds really good. Do you like the remaster or the original?
They're both about the same. The guitars sound a lot more clear on the new one, so it's really either or.
What if Whitechapel actually, like, full out re-recorded this album?
It would be a lot better, a lot better. I feel like Phil Bozeman definitely killed on some parts that he just could have done better on before.
Mm-hmm.
But we should make one of those stupid like top 10 breakdowns video. Where it's like a 30-second long clip of each breakdown, have like Parkway Drive breakdowns and stuff. And I don't know. Shut up. You, not him, you, the viewer. You just need to shut up right now.
I think he needs to shut up too.
Yeah.
But yeah. What would you give this album?
I don't know, like a maybe 8 out of 10, something like that.
I was thinking
7.5, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a good album. If you've never picked
Good
up
album.
or listened to Whitechapel's The Smack Power,
Good.
it's a good album.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
Bye. Bye.